for the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Okay, next is going to be Saeed. Go ahead, Saeed. You'll need to unmute. I'll let you know when you get it. Mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. You just click the big microphone icon. Yep, gotcha.
Gotcha. All right. My big question is, my art focuses around like fine arts, like abstract fine art.
Mm-hmm.
How can we sort of like distinguish ourselves from other abstract expressionists or abstract art? Like, how can, other than just, getting ourselves out there, how can we make the art be our voice, so to speak? Like, how can we find our voice in our art and for people to see our work and say, okay, that's a Saeed painting. I recognize that.
I see what you're saying. So you're saying, how can you make the art, distinguishable enough, brandable enough, such that the minute somebody saw one, they would recognize it? It's a good question, actually. It's an interesting question. Number one, it's not the most important thing, right? Like, those are the types of questions. I'm going to deal with it in two ways. Those are the types of questions that everyone gets hung up on, and they pontificate and they contemplate, and then they don't do any damn marketing, and they never get a shot to find out the answer to that question anyway. Early on, you start marketing and you sort it out. What normally happens, Saeed, what I normally see, it's like, and it's funny because I've been through this where you pay a branding agency for a business like a ton of money to brand you, like give you a tagline, give you the proper logo, go through this entire thing. It's never how it works out. It works out by doing regular and consistent marketing, and then your collectors, your audience ends up branding you, and then Saeed is known as the abstract guy that always paints that same symbol in red and blue, right? Like, you end up just getting branded yourself, but it will never happen from anything less than, in my opinion, like regular and consistent marketing, which is probably not the answer that you want to hear. But you also don't need that hardcore branding to be in place right out of the gate, Saeed, in order to make sales at all. So I wouldn't over stress about that early on. I would just say keep cranking, keep doing your thing. You're going to be a part of the brand as much as the work is too, I would say, Saeed. So understand that you're a part of the brand. We need to see what you look like. We need to see what makes you tick. We need to see what you're interested in. How do you have a half Arab name and a half Latino name? What combination is that? I'm very curious about that one. So, we all kind of just use what we have at our disposal. But I'm unmuting you again in case you have a follow-up, because I saw you remuted.
Oh, no. Just to say thank you.
Yeah, cool. Are you half Arab, half Latino, by the way?
No, I'm 100% Mexican, and coincidentally, I ended up marrying an Arab woman. My wife's Egyptian, and everyone's freaking out as to how this happened, but it's just, I don't know. It's just my mom was into Middle Eastern names, and she just decided to give me an Arab name back in the 80s in Mexico, and I ended up marrying it.
See, now, and he's asking me what his brand needs to be. Here's a Mexican with an Arab name married to an Egyptian woman. I mean, how much more interested are we in seeing his work right now? Like, I am incredibly. Just out of curiosity, what part of Mexico is your family from?
Mexico City.
You're a Chilango. I love Mexico City.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah. You gotta get back down there from time to time. It's a wonderful city. Amazing food. I
just got back there from like a week ago. I was there for 3 weeks.
Nice. I'm going in a couple of weeks. I love it down there. I go down there all the time. But yeah, you don't need to worry about it. Just start your marketing and get going.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And you have the potential to teach your kids English, Spanish, and Arabic. I mean, that's a triple threat as well. Amazing. Okay, Naomi, you're up next. Go ahead.
All right, I have a couple of questions.
Please. So
one, to begin with, I know like in the videos of those who are doing their lives, I saw that they were holding them up without them being framed or whatever. Mm-hmm. So is that the way to go? Just don't worry about the framing part.
Yeah, don't worry about the framing part. I mean, the fact that you have it, are you a painter or a photographer?
I do painting and charcoal drawing, pastel drawings.
Yeah. The fact that you have something to hold up is a huge advantage, number one, okay? Because artists are so terrible at merchandising. So yeah, you can start with it unframed and don't worry about that, and just get going on that. It's totally fine.
Okay. Well, my other question is also, I would like to do commissions as well, but I don't know if this model would work for commissions.
Oh,
Like,
100%, 100%.
when I say commissions, I mean like portrait drawings.
Yeah, 100% it works. You know, I encourage 100% of my customers, whether they want to take commissions or not, to put a commissions tab on their website. I want all of them to do it. And the reason is that I start following Naomi. I'm really interested in what Naomi's doing. I kind of like her creativity, but none of the work that I've seen so far resonates with me, and I'm on her website. I'm going to go ahead and hit that commissions tab. It says, have an idea for commission? Fill it out. Do you know what I'm essentially doing? Holding my credit card above my head and saying, Naomi, take my money. Will you create this thing, right? And so that ends up being an idea generation machine, whether you even want to take the commissions or not. Now, you obviously do want to do that, right? But it's a critically important thing. And like what doesn't get taught in art school or photography school is that being a successful artist or photographer, oftentimes in terms of subject material, it comes down to a game of archery, okay? What most artists and photographers do is they say, this is my arrow. This is what creatively sustains me. This is what I like creating. And they draw it back in the bow and they fire it. And they miss the bullseye and they're like, this sucks. Art doesn't sell. Everyone's interested in Chinese art, like Doug was putting in the chat. And what you don't understand is, like, at the end of the day, it's not about any one arrow. You have to fire a bunch of arrows at the target if you want to hit a bullseye. Stated another way, when Pablo Picasso died, he had 45,000 unsold works in his inventory. If he created something and no one liked it, he didn't say, woe is me, it's the end of the world, I'm going to quit. He just kept creating until he did. That is part of having a business and iterating. And so when you have the commissions tab, okay, and you are getting this feedback on what people want, and especially if you ever do like an in-person event or a fair or a show, and somebody stops and they take the time to have a conversation with you, and they're like, yeah, I like this, I like that. Hey, question for you. Would you do so-and-so? Like, that is how some of the best discoveries in this business are made. You're like, wait a minute, this is a whole new direction. And then your creative machine fires up and you start marinating on. You're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And then that's how you discover it. So absolutely it works for that. Absolutely it does.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Doug, you asked a very interesting question. Doug asks, can you say something about Instagram and how an artist can get thousands of likes? Thousands of likes? What are you going to do with thousands of likes, Doug? There's no button on the ATM machine for thousands of likes. Okay, that is just a vanity metric on social media. So don't worry about that. And if you're going to be doing Instagram, I mean, Doug, you've been on a couple of these things before. Start doing more Instagram reels. Start posting consistently. Start running live art shows via Instagram. You start doing all of that consistently, and that's how you get there. That's how you start cooking with gas. So that's what I would say. That would be my answer to that one. But who else, guys? Questions? Should we get into our Black Friday discussion so I can give you my rah-rah speech about how you can't let November come and go, okay, without being ready, without doing a little pre-marketing and having a sale? Critically important, you guys. Critically important that you take this month coming up seriously. And you need to get going literally today on starting to do your pre-marketing. Figure out what email list you have. If you don't have an email list, figure out what you've got going on the socials. If you don't have anything going on the socials, you should have started a year ago. But you can get started on all of those things. Start working on it. You can do an in-person show or fair. You can fake a garage sale during November if you have to and get all that crap out of your garage or your apartment or whatever else and then include your art in it. I don't care what you do, quite frankly, as long as you take a shot, as long as you fire one of those arrows in November. And that can come down to just whatever you have available to you attempting to run a sale. It is so critically important. Such a huge month. Such a huge month. But what else? You guys are a quiet bunch today. Nisa, I'm going to pick on you because your camera's on. Samsung SMG 900V. When the phone doesn't change, that always ends up happening that way. Heather, I'll answer that question in a second. Okay, Naomi, go again.
All right. I want to know if you know what the trends are these days, and as far as like fine art, are people into realism, or are they more into abstract art? Or
yeah.
What have you seen?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the premise to your question is where the flaw is, and it's a hugely flawed scenario. And the premise to the question is, there's some sort of a secret, this, that, or the other, that if I just know and I incorporate in my business will explode, right? The varietals I get on that What are the best selling sizes? What are the best selling media types? What are the best prices, right? What are the best places to market? There's no silver bullet. There's no secret, okay? What I would say in terms of subject material, an interesting way to think about it is less about the particular style. What no one ever does is no one ever flips the equation on its head. And the normal equation is, I'm going to go create this because I like this, and then I'm going to go attempt to sell it. Now, it might sell, it might not. It might sell like gangbusters, it might fall flat on its face, but that's what you do. You create the product based on what you want to create, and you take it to market. So how would we flip that equation 180 degrees on its head? Go and find a diehard bunch of people that are really, really into something, and go and create something for them. Okay? No one ever does that. Start with the end and work backwards. And like one of the examples that I give, and I'm somewhat into sports, but Green Bay Packers fans are diehard lunatics. They consider it a personal mandate to buy in pounds their body weight in Green Bay related crap on a yearly basis, right? So you go and create, you're like, here's some diehard people. You go and create a bunch of Green Bay Packers related fan art and you attempt to sell that. You started with a diehard bunch and work backwards. But it doesn't have to be a sporting franchise. It could be anything. Like there are so many niches and individual little like interest groups across the United States and other countries that are diehard about things. They're diehard about things. So it's an interesting way to, you know, go search Facebook groups, go search Reddit, see if you can find communities that are around something that you really have an interest in creating, and then go create for them. That is a better way to contemplate it rather than, you know, what subject material is hot right now, right?
Right, thanks.
Yeah. All right. Heather asked a great question. I love this question. I want to see if I can find her on here. Are you there, Heather? I'm going to unmute you. So Heather asked, how much to spend on ads? 0, Heather. You don't need to spend any money on ads. You don't want to be spending any money on ads. What I prefer that you do is get all of that money, put it in a jar, and then as soon as it gets a little bit colder, go out back and light it on fire. That way you'll at least get a little warmth out of the money that you're going to spend on ads, okay? It's a really, really hard thing to do as an artist to understand, one, how digital ads work, two, to understand how long and how consistent you have to be running them, to understand where to start, number three, i.e. people that have already experienced your brand versus people who don't know who you are. And I've seen almost no artists get it right. Absolutely almost no artists get it right. So it's not a quick shot in the arm best way to do it in the slightest. And yeah, like that being said, once you get over a certain amount of money in sales, let's say it's $5,000, I do advise that most artists and photographers start advertising consistently and never stop. But the way to think about the ads, the way that nobody does think about the ads, artists and photographers especially, not anybody on this call, mind you. Let me ask if something like this might sound familiar, right? Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna boost a post a couple, 2 or 3 times, see what happens, and see if I get an ROI out of it, right? And what you're saying in your mind is, I'm gonna go ahead and take this credit card, I'm gonna slide it, I'm gonna get some money out of the ATM machine, I'm gonna go put it on the blackjack table, or put it on the roulette table, or put it on the craps table, and I'm gonna put $100 down and see if $250 comes back. If $250 comes back, I'll do it again. And then you go up there and you do it, and the $250 doesn't come back, and you're like, okay, I'm done with this, and you move on. The way to think about ads is very small spends, absolutely every single solitary day. Most artists can get away with $10 or $15, and then write the check mentally for a year. For a year. Spend $10 a day every single solitary day, 52 weeks in a row, and do that only to a warm audience, and learn the particulars of that. Assuming you do that, you stand a very good chance at seeing an ROI from the ad spend. No one ever does that, though. They always look at it as just like a temporary short-term slot machine, and then they don't understand how ads work, and they're like, I got a ton of likes and comments and shares. Yeah, how many sales did you get? Right? 0. Yeah, I know. See? Look, she just put in the chat, okay? Just why I toot my own horn. Do you know how long I've been doing this? I know, Heather. I know exactly what you were going to say there, right? Like it's not a recipe for success. It's not the best use of your time. It's really, really hard to do. It takes a long time to figure out. And, you know, I could go into all the other reasons why it doesn't work, but don't do it anymore. It's not worth it. I actually learned the lesson like really, really early in my career, and it was with print advertising back then. And I had a clothing company when I was younger. and I was like in this trade show booth, and I was a young and impressionable young lad, and this just smooth, incredibly well dressed, beautiful, eloquent woman came up, and she got me hook, line, and sinker on this like magazine advertisement that I did, and I did one of them, and I got like a little bit of feedback, but the ad didn't pay off, and then I learned later in my career that if I would have bought 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, probably would have been great, but I didn't. And I went into it with a casino mentality, right? Let me just dip my toe in the water and see if this works, and that will never work. That will never work. Yeah, Eloise, that's a great question. I've got a really good post on this too, and so I'm gonna pull it up now as I'm talking about it. She was asking, what is a good website to have on it, and what does it need, and those types of things. And so let me pull this up. Is this it? This is it. All right. Yeah, this is it. I'm gonna put this in the chat, and I think you should keep it because it talks from top to bottom about what a website needs, what it needs most importantly. The one takeaway that I'll say is where most artists and photographers get it wrong is you guys are like, wait a minute, I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I have an incredible visual sense. I understand framing and the rule of thirds and composition. So I don't like the look of any of these websites. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use, my very, very knowledgeable visual sense to build a website that looks beautiful. And do you know what the problem with that is? You guys are not website builders. Okay, you're trying to reinvent the wheel, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Do you know what the ideal website looks like? Looks like that. Do you notice how every art gallery and every museum has one thing in common? White walls, the work, and nothing else. White walls, work, nothing else. If it's an art gallery, it's in a bank, maybe they've got brick walls, right, or older buildings and such. But the entire focus should be on the art and nothing else, right? And then when I go and I look at the websites that you guys all create left to your own devices, I'll take your pick, Squarespace, Wix, this one, that one, the other one, doesn't matter. There's image sliders and sometimes obnoxious music and different fonts and different colors that if anyone actually ever saw the art, it would be a miracle. It would be a miracle, right? It should be minimalist. Everything that we attempt to do, digitally speaking, is just mimic what works best in the real world. And what works best in the real world is just this, right? Your focus automatically goes to the artwork and nothing else because there is nothing else to focus on. So it's very minimalist, clean, represents what a museum looks like. And maybe there's a cash register in there to take payment, right? Or a computer in today's day and age, I should say. So, you do need an e-commerce enabled site, but that's how I would answer that. So many people get it wrong. And it's a frustrating one of these things, right? Because no one tells you that you're not reinventing the wheel, okay? Keep your art on the canvas, keep your art on the lens, keep it off the damn website, okay? Because that's just not, that is not your level of expertise, okay? It's not supposed to look like whatever you think it's supposed to look like, whatever you're putting in your lens, whatever you're putting on your canvas, okay? Stop doing that. People have figured this out a long time ago. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We are just attempting to copy what already works. So that's what I would say. And I'm happy you got a laugh out of it, Judith. It makes me laugh too, but it also infuriates me sometimes because everyone's like, they blame the website, right? Like, I built my own website and I thought it was incredible and it looks really, really good. And nothing happened. Nothing happened a little bit because of the website, primarily because you didn't work on your marketing and you wasted a bunch of time learning to become a web programmer, which is the biggest waste of time in the history of mankind. I've got you covered too. Naomi, hold on. I'll show you. All I have to do is go to the blog. I've been writing some really good articles lately. This is the Bible on pricing. Okay, I had somebody on Facebook tell me this is the single solitary best post they've ever seen in the history of their time on Facebook. So I'm going to send that to you. I want you to click that and bookmark that because I'll probably forget to send it to you later. But it's a very, very thorough guide on how to price and how to contemplate price and how to go through the entire thing. I've also got podcast episodes on it, but read that article. It'll be a spaceship moment for you, Naomi. It's a big deal. Big deal. Yeah, the website thing infuriates me sometimes. I mean, I every once in a while I'll like grab a bunch of the emails that sign up on our website. And myself and my team will be like, okay, let's go audit. Let's go see who our potential customers are. And we throw your emails into a search engine. We have this little thing that like ties it to all your social profiles. I look at your websites and the amount of goofy nonsense going on in these websites. My word. How much time did you waste and did you invest in that nonsense? And where did it move the business to? Nowhere. You guys want to be successful? Three things. Create the thing, market the thing, sell the thing. Nowhere in there is talk to GoDaddy and redirect a URL and understand what a form is, or HTML or CSS or Facebook pixels, or talking to customer support agents, well-meaning, overseas, or searching forums, or any of the rest of it, okay? That's why when you sign up with us, we don't even let you build the website anymore. We build it for you. Because we realize that if we take that nonsense off of your hands, okay, you are not going to be wasting any time on something that is not going to fundamentally move the needle in your business. You don't want to become a web programmer. These are not web programmers, okay? You don't want to do that. No one wants to do that. So it's a waste of time creating the things, marketing the things, selling the things. If you're not in one of those three pillars, you are not growing a business. It's the same thing that goes for the printing side of it, right? Like, you know, one of the things that we offer is you sign up, your images get uploaded, which we don't even let you do anymore. We do that now. And boom, like that, you are now offering canvas prints, paper prints, metal prints, acrylic prints, wood prints if you want, the various different types of merch. And when the orders for those things come in, do you know what you have to do? Nothing. The order comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, order gets printed, order gets boxed, your logo goes on the side of the box, they ship it to your customer. The system sends all the tracking numbers, all the everything, all of it, and you touch nothing. Why is that? Because nowhere in create the thing, market the thing, and sell the thing is FedEx tracking numbers, or driving to a printer, or calling and saying you have the sample done yet. Nowhere in there is any of that. So you can't focus. You can't focus, and everyone does love to focus on these things. It's like, oh, I'm so busy in my business. Yeah, but you're not going anywhere. Nothing's changing because you are coloring outside of the lines, and you're busy outside of the three pillars, and the only three pillars that matter. So that's what I would say. That's a really, really important, point at a macro. It's like you have to be focused, working on the stuff that will actually change, will actually move the needle, will actually build the business. And if you're not doing that, the business is not going anywhere, and it's just not good. That's what I'd say. All right, Rick, go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, Patrick.
How you doing, buddy?
Nice to see you again. I've decided I'm starting a GoFundMe to raise the money to become a member of Art Storefronts.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want you to go do a GoFundMe. The GoFundMe doesn't fit in the three pillars either. I would rather you raise the funds by selling the work, by going to a local fair or show. That's what I would prefer you do. You can do the GoFundMe, but there's like a learning curve on getting a GoFundMe to work, and you have to. There's a lot of work to it.
But yeah, okay. It's not the only means of raising funds. I agree with you, and I'm not real, but I do want to. I've looked at the sample websites on our storefronts, and the explanation, the 7 key features, and I think, as I see it, the greatest thing is that boom, you've got. On the same page, you can buy the original painting and the print, and it gives you all the materials you can have it on, the sizes.
Yeah, it's so important.
And I think that's the key thing. You don't have to go to 5 different searches to get the original painting and another search to get the.
No.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a great feature.
No, it is. It is. It's really, and again, like the takeaway is all of these things already got figured out a long time ago. Our only job is to just remove as much friction as possible and make it all just like the paradigm that is buying art. The best way to buy art, the best way to see art is in a art gallery or museum. That's what we all know. We've all been to museums. Most of us have been inside of art galleries. That's what we know. And so that's what we want the website experience to be. That's it. I mean, you need plain white walls. You need an about me section. If you want to put an artist statement in there, fine. Mateo, if you want to put in those 3 juried shows that you got into, fine. That would be a good place for it. Other than that, you're done. There's nothing else you need. A little FAQ page to talk about the printing. That's it. And then it is get selling, get marketing, and get selling.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to add that, and but good reminder. There are other ways of raising the money, but that's my job now, is to get with our storefronts and acquire some money. So I get the money and get resourceful and find the money. Period.
Keep marketing in the meantime, Rick. Don't stop.
Oh yeah, and I'm doing my Instagram reels. I got a great response. Someone said, "Absolutely stunning."
Exactly. And then what? How do you reply to that?
I said, well, it's available to purchase. And I didn't get anything back. So,
well, then that's all right. Then you did it. When someone says it's stunning, you say it will look stunning on your wall. I take Venmo, PayPal, cash, credit card, and here's my GoFundMe page. Right?
Oh man,
right for the jugular.
Yeah, that's a great point, Patrick. Anyway, I just all the points you're making are great. And by the way, everybody, just keep doing, and as far as the Instagram reels, I do reruns too, because there's a whole bunch of people coming in that have not seen it.
That's right.
Or I'll do 2 new ones, boom, and then show those, and then I'll go back and I'll rerun an old one. And I get a lot of people looking at the reruns.
That's right. That's right. You didn't even know what an Instagram reel was when you started coming to these things. Now he's running reruns. See, that's how you level up. That's how you level up. All right.
Right. Anyway, thanks a lot, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Okay, back to you, Mateo.
Yeah, my question is, I do a lot of interdisciplinary type artwork. Like I have the physical media, and then I import it into Procreate, and I'll do digital edits to it and stuff. So when I sell art, sometimes I think that I'll do sell the original derivative work, and then you get the digital end piece. And I've been looking at NFTs and stuff, but is that even a thing where your artists are selling NFTs through the site where they can get the original source as well as
some of them are, but they're also diehard crypto fans. Are you a diehard crypto fan, Mateo?
Not really diehard, but
do you own Bitcoin? Do you own Ethereum? Do you have a MetaMask wallet? Have you purchased an NFT?
I have, yeah.
Did you find that to be an easy process?
No. It was very hard.
It was very hard? Was it confusing as all hell? Another way to say it? Would that be an appropriate characterization? Yeah. So, no.
But it seems a little bit more lucrative sometimes because what I'm learning or what I think, I could be totally wrong.
You're totally wrong. They're not selling. They've died. NFTs are utterly, totally, completely died. And I say that people get so upset with me.
Yeah.
I bought my first Bitcoin when it was $12.95. If I would have kept, I bought it on eBay. If I would have kept a bunch of those damn Bitcoins, I would not be in the Zoom chat. Okay. So we know how the story ends, but I've loved crypto from its inception. I still play with it all the time. I still hold a ton of it, love it, fascinated by it, fascinated in what NFTs and blockchain technology portend for the art industry, but it's going to be a long time until we get there. Number one. Number two, NFTs in that market represent an expansion of what the art market is already. The majority of people that are buying, selling, and transacting in those, by the way, which is, gone down 98% from its peak or 95% from its peak, are dyed in the wool, idealistic, libertarian crypto fanatics, and they want to support it, and they love it as a result of that. It's an expansion of what the normal art market is. 99.9% of the people that come into your ecosystem, Mateo, have no idea what an NFT is and do not own crypto and would have no idea how to purchase it. So all you're doing is just introducing additional friction into the water.
Yeah.
So don't stress about it for now. Keep hitting the back of your head. Keep reading the news articles. Be fascinated by it, but don't waste too much time on it now.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And people. It's funny because the CEO of the company. Super into crypto too. He and I both for years and years and years. And when you've been in it for years and years and years, you've inevitably been on the way up of the roller coaster and the way down of the roller coaster multiple times, right? And when NFTs were taken off, we're like, this ride sounds familiar. I feel like I'd probably been on this 10 times already. So could see where it was going. But it's going to change everything. It's just going to take some time, quite a bit of time, I think. That's what I would say. Okay. So what is Doug saying? Walmart has all the tools and materials for customers to make prints from the digital camera, like metal prints, canvas prints, even from jink. Yes, Doug. So what? That is not preventing you from being successful with your art. None of that matters. You gotta do some consistent marketing. Go and do a local Thayer show, Doug. That's what I would say. That would be the direction I would go in. But what else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention or bring up. I don't know. Any final questions, guys, before we wrap it up? I know somebody just jumped on right now. I'm sorry about timing. Who was that? Handy Barrick. Handy Barrick. It's a very catchy name, I think. I'll send you the replay, Handy, but I think we're close to wrapping things up for the day. But I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you learned something that can help. I hope that you guys run a sale in November and that you don't start thinking about it week of Thanksgiving. I'm going to send you a bunch of great links, everything that was in the show, the actual show that you saw up top. The posts that I sent are also very good. Read those, the ones on the website and the ones on pricing. I've got to get those in the email that I send after the fact. I'm going to make a note to do that. Hold on. Will you, if I don't do it now, I'll forget. Will you just make sure to include website, article, pricing, article, one on fairs and shows in the resend email. See? Now, done. My accountability is intact. I've told them, include it. So I'll send that to all of you guys. Read those things. It will help out significantly otherwise. Hope to see you on a future Zoom session, or join me on an Instagram Live, or subscribe to the podcast, Art Marketing Podcast. 3 words, Art Marketing Podcast. Type it anywhere. Yeah, you'll listen to a podcast. I think you'll enjoy it. There's a ton of great stuff in there. And everybody have a great week. Okay. Black Friday, Cyber Monday are coming. Get ready. Get ready. All right, guys.